What is the? This is Hero Tag.
What is this?
I'm
This
afraid
is not really the person that thought this was supposed to be 3x.
a lot of people seem to be thinking that, and
It's
I just
not
want to
3x.
clarify something. This is not 3x. This is the stream before 3x.
Alright.
And
I
besides
chose
that,
Observer.
yeah, nice. I almost forgot about that until you
I
said it.
wanted to yell that out to remind you.
Right, right. I'm glad I did that last time to remind you, because otherwise... Ooh, game plan. You gotta see this. Foo with a game plan? But there's no builders. Oh, that's a much more... Whoa, this toss team is basically the exact opposite of our last one.
We'll get another PvT though, sorry.
Yeah. Generally, we find that Terran has trouble in these matchups. But anyway, I'll start with my team. I'm with Terrans. Going top, I believe, we have Valorius as Raven. Going top mid is Spry on Marine. Ares, Mad Goat, is going bot mid as well as Dark Void. And bot lane is Foo. I am surprised not to see any critterers. Medic can do it reasonably. Ares used to be able to before Flamethrower broke. Raven could do it. Ghost could... No. Well, it could, but it's generally not a good idea.
For my team, Team 1, the red team, we have Static playing DZ. Looks like he's going to be top lane.
Yeah.
In top mid, we have Anime Craver on the DT. Crittering, we have BBM on the DA. Bot mid, we have Poppy playing Reaver. And bot lane, we have Big L playing Berserker.
Yeah, and already I'm going to say that bottom lane's going to have a lot of trouble. As we saw in the last matchup, Ghost is just really good versus Protoss.
I think Berserker will give it a better matchup, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
because...
it's faster, so it's safer. It can reveal Cloak.
Yeah.
Got a stun. I think it'll give him a better match.
I'm not really sure why he's running around Foo in circles, though. That was...
I guess he just didn't want to get XP denied, but I don't know why you would run toward his side. I guess maybe you avoid more shots.
Yeah.
What's really surprising is, like you said earlier, why do they not have a critter on River?
Yeah, there's a huge issue with that, because River is the best map for crittering, and yet they've just left those untouched. They could have taken a Pred.
Really? It should have been... Yeah, I mean, based on their unit choices, I feel Valorius should have crittered.
Yeah, and Valorius...
Raven's a really good critter.
Yeah, Raven's a good critterer. I still feel they could have used a Pred, especially since Ares... honestly, there's not really a whole lot of point in playing Ares at the moment. And Ares is taking a lot of harass in that lane. Now they finally have level 1, so Medic can harass back with the Radiate, but he just has a huge range advantage.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. Taking Ares with a broken flamethrower is basically only saving grace.
Yeah. Valorius has already had to back because DZ is just pretty strong in the lane. He's firing missiles, just trying to harass Static down, but honestly I don't think that's the best choice because Static wants to go back soon. He's going to want that warp gate. Also, you see him, he just bought the Obs Tower. Vision is nice. I'm not sure if it's necessary this early, but... And they then a lane switch. Yep. Val is now crittering as you suggested he should be, and Medic is versus DT.
I wonder if someone's stream ghosting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they clearly wouldn't come up with these brilliant plans if it weren't for me.
Uh-huh.
So, let's see.
It looks like Ares already had to go back, and that left bot mid lane open for a while, missing XP.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he did not use fast transport to get back. I don't really agree with that choice. It costs money, but...
He actually bought a siege tank. I'm
not...
That would give him some... It's not really giving him any added pressure in lane, though, because he put it so far back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's safer there, but...
If he put it far... This will probably help him not lose lane for quite a while, but if he actually wanted to be able to put some pressure back on the Reaver, he really needed to put it farther forward.
Yeah, I feel like with that science vessel there and the range that Ares has, he probably could have put it a little further.
Yeah.
A little further. But either way, it's hitting the Zealots when they get to the Marines, so...
Eventually, Ares will outrange Reaver, though, I believe, because he'll... there's no point in getting flamethrowers, so you might as well upgrade your cannons first.
Yep.
Let's see, Foo... Big L's not doing too badly in this matchup versus Foo. Oh, wait. He's 2 levels behind at the moment, and it looks like he's going to be taking...
he's actually struggling quite a bit. I think he's going to die here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that just goes to show I don't know what I'm talking about.
And everybody already knew that, so it's not a big deal.
Dang. Alright, so we're already seeing our first warp gate. I'm surprised we aren't seeing more. I really think Big L should be buying that. Maybe he's saving up, he doesn't have the money yet. BBM is almost dying to critters in here.
He's actually, he is getting a little bit lower than he needs to, but he's doing a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, he's certainly doing a good job. DA is a great critter on River.
Experience.
He's certainly got the experience.
Even with a couple people, I think, running through and leeching his lane a bit.
Yeah. Big L has switched up to bottom mid. This is interesting. Honestly, I think he just doesn't want to lane against Foo's Ghost.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody is going to go bottom.
Yeah, I think that DZ would have the best time of it, but there's not really a great Protoss hero versus Ghost.
That's going to relieve a little bit of pressure on Terran because that's going to slow down the level. Actually, no, they're going to go ahead and send Reaver down against Ghost.
Oh, I do not agree with this choice. Reaver can't escape if it gets into trouble, and against Ghost, you're virtually guaranteed to get into trouble.
He's probably just going to have to play really, really safe or hope to get a quick burst down on the Ghost, which, as we just saw with that EMP, not looking promising.
No. And I'm sure Fu already has Cloak. There is an Observer over here, but it's not very aggressively placed. It's a little overlap. It's not really covering where you might want it to be. And so Val is also helping the lanes out. Sent a Science Vessel to the Ares, who was having trouble in lane. That should help him quite a bit. He's using a Siege Tank to critter, interestingly. You can also use bunkers.
Yeah, bunkers are way, way, way more effective.
Yeah, they're much faster. You can get 3 critter patches.
Of course, you can sell bunkers back, and so that way you don't lose any money.
Yeah, but he is definitely getting a decent amount of use out of this. He's getting at least 2 critter patches, and he's firing missiles in different areas, trying to harass lanes down. Honestly, I don't think he needs to so much. DZ is not going to be harassed down in general. And then the other lanes are just kind of getting hurt a lot.
At this point in the game, Medic should have enough money. He needs to go back and get Dom.
Yeah.
Once he gets Dom, DZ in your lane is not a problem. Once you have a few Stalkers, you're set.
Before Dom, though, you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah.
Because Medic harass range and DZ harass range are equal, so you can't... And his harass is just so much more effective.
Ares actually does not have any items yet.
No, I'm surprised. He bought a Siege Tank. I'm pretty sure that was all he could afford on his first back.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't not backed yet.
Yeah. But he is abusing his cannon range to start taking down that first set of towers. I don't think he should still be there, though, because Preserver could probably combo him down right now. But Preserver is more focused on farm, and honestly, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, given we only see a couple warp gates at the tall space, really, there should be at least 3 by now.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that this Static has a warp gate and Anime has a warp gate, but no one else does. And strangely enough, Static and Anime are the ones least needing to go back.
It's actually causing Anime to have to walk back to lane there because both the warp gates were on cooldown.
Yeah, somebody else used his to get back. And, ooh, that's a really early lockdown. I don't like that choice. It's not bad, but Marine without damage items just doesn't do much.
Actually, something I started doing a while back was Marine versus Protoss. You pretty much just go kind of open up like a medic and just take down.
Yeah. Well, honestly, a lot of Terran heroes...
and a lot more lane presence.
It looks like Valurius is finally coming out of the critters to start making his presence known on the map. He's going to start... yeah, he could easily get this set of defenses. Both heroes here are low. I'm surprised he didn't get Big L, but they could still easily get the Reaver if they just felt like going after him. But no, they're just going to settle for the defenses.
Yeah, Val didn't quite have enough energy for another missile.
Yeah.
So that was able to escape.
Still, that means that tier defenses is down. Static has recently killed the medic opponent up top lane, but he has gone back. He now has...
We see in the bottom lane that the DA has finally come out of critters. He's going to try to relieve that lane because Ghost has been pretty much destroying anyone that ever showed up.
Yeah. Even DA is going to have a lot of trouble with this just because Ghost has good creep clear. It's not as good versus the Terran creeps it's going to be shooting, but it's certainly, if he lands one on the DA, it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt quite a bit, but at the same time, if the Ghost gets out of position, and the DA catches him with a stun. I mean, he does have observers. He's got the Maelstrom. If DA catches him, Ghost will probably die.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure I agree with BBM's build here. I think he could use a bit more damage output and a little less energy. Nice. There we...
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember what patch it was, but they did make it harder to catch a ghost after you Maelstromed him. I think it automatically cloaks you back.
Yeah, but I mean, he has more observers. He could have just dropped another observer and thrown Nightmare down.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the question is it worth that much to get the kill? I mean, heroes in this game aren't worth that much. The observer, at this point, probably costs more than you'll get out of killing Fu. But removing Fu would be useful. Hard choice to make. Down bottom lane, we're seeing Val and Mad Goat press in. There's really not much anime can do, even if he swaps them into cannons. At this point in the game, well...
Actually, if he swaps them into cannon...
Apparently it does matter, because...
He'll die.
I mean, honestly...
The PT also has one of the highest DPSs, so...
Yeah,
he does hurt quite a bit when he gets on you.
Yeah. So, ignore me again. This surely will not happen again. Dark Void has Psi Disruptor, Regenerative Biosteel. I really don't agree with his choice on Medic. He really should have Dom.
Another thing is, Protoss, I don't think they have a Z-Lot.
Yeah.
So, they're not going to have any farming heroes. So, if the game goes into a later game, Terran will have the advantage, just simply from the Marine having farm. And actually, the Marines got some of his Marine spawns out of position and not quite getting a farm.
Yeah. Also, Ghost just went down. Honestly, I was thinking about that, and I feel DA should have left his initial critter army to patrol through the critters and slowly die off, because all they are to the Terran is just more feed.
Yeah, speed. The actual critters aren't really worth anything.
Yeah, they don't do any damage. Well, they do tons of damage, but they're so easy
I'm actually surprised that the DA has this many units right now with a Raven in the game. Yeah. Actually, Val has not purchased a command center yet.
I do not know what Val's doing.
So they don't have any scan.
Well, even with no command center, I believe he could have been harassing the army down. I'm surprised.
Well, even still, I mean, considering it's DA, you want to have that command center. He is level 12. Surely he's going to have War of Darkness probably max right now. There, he sneaks up on Val.
Yeah.
Taking him off the DT. This could be Val's...
No, honestly, he'll probably die, but it's just... Yeah.
There it goes.
I was just surprised to see that, because Val was... Like, the DA really needs some Wraiths. He had only tanks and Marauders, which meant he could not deal damage up. And Val is probably going to be one of the bigger threats, so they need to have something to counter him.
Yeah. Well, okay, there. Fu does get a command center down finally.
Yeah.
Val's going to need to get some of his own. It's just, there we go. Val drops 3 command centers. Hopefully he didn't buy them all at once for the price of like 1, but...
Yeah, well, you know, we'll assume he didn't. They really should now just start... Yeah, there we go. So, you see the scan? Where's the missile? Should be a missile.
It should be coming in pretty soon.
Yeah, there we go. And start harassing.
How the rest of the game is going to go. The DA is going to lose most of his army like that.
Every race has a counter to DA. For Zerg, it's Muta. For Terran, it's Raven. And I think Terran is by far the most effective because you can literally do it from anywhere. Just completely eliminate the army.
Really just waiting for the DA.
Yeah. So DA will still be very powerful, but he's going to have a lot of trouble holding on to that. Honestly, at this point, I would, if I were DA, I would split it up and start using it to farm critters, get lots of money, leave.
Marine taking a huge burst in bot mid lane, goes down the Preserver.
Ooh.
The DA going to clear out the critters in the top.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he has too much resistance other than Val, who's a little bit... Yeah, you got to be a little bit worried about running out of DA, because a lot of times the DT is going to travel with him. That's a massive, massive CC team.
Yeah, Fu's down.
Fu just found out why. You have to be careful.
Yeah. Honestly, DTDA is probably one of the strongest combos. Throwing a Phoenix, too, which most people don't really think about, but... Yeah. It's just the ultimate CC.
Let's take a look at the top lane. Medic still does not have domination.
I do not know what he's doing. I mean, back when I first started playing Medic, all I did was irradiate people, but... There's only so much that can do for you, especially against DZ.
Surprisingly, he has Biosteel.
Honestly, yeah, I mentioned that earlier, and it's just completely useless on medic as far as I'm concerned. It's not.
So it looks like in the bot lane, looks like DA and Raven traded.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a trade in favor of DA just because he doesn't lose his army.
Yep.
Oh, and Fu almost goes down to.
Barely survives that burst.
Yeah. Reaver is actually quite dangerous. It's just that Reaver is easily countered, and Ghost is one of those counters. I think he can probably one-shot your entire fleet, and I'm surprised to be seeing Reaver not getting a fleet of Warp Prisms.
Yeah, it's definitely something you want to do. It's much safer. The Reen actually has a CC of his own, which is good. I mean, the more people have a CC, the better. It just makes it easier for everyone to get a scan off on the DA when he gets close. But another thing that Reen's scan does, if you look at the bot corner critter, you just scan that to drop his Marines. It's a really, really effective way of doing that because if the other team does not have vision, they won't catch you doing it. So you can actually, you'll probably see him scan their critters and drop Marines in there without having to ever get vision of it.
Yeah.
Having to ever get near it.
And I mean, it will be pretty effective because, again, Protoss is just not using their critter patches. They don't have a direct farming hero, but DA could do the job easily.
DA and honestly, at this point, the DA probably should just do it because the Raven has finally started to CC snipe him. So there's no point in keeping a bunched up army around. He might as well use some of it to farm.
Yeah, Terran started making the turning point in this game. I feel the first bit was dictated by Protoss. As you can see, they've lost all their defenses down bot except for the inner base and all their defenses top. But now that DA doesn't really have any pushing power, I think it's mostly going to be up to Static on DZ to actually scare the Terrans. Like, okay, DA now has 5 Wraiths and a tank. 6. Which is more than enough to kill... Oh, jeez.
And the medic might go down here.
The medic's definitely going down there. Oh.
Being warped in, that was a little
bit... That was close. I think DA could have just grabbed him. I am surprised to see... I'm surprised to see DA not having stasis. It's a very good skill on DA. Honestly, I don't...
Yeah, actually taking a bunch of damage here.
Yeah,
close fight with the Reen, and he does get the Reen, but Val's might snipe him before warp out.
He really should get out of there. Val's just gonna...
Just the snipe didn't warp out, not sure why.
Yeah. I mean, he did take damage. I think he accidentally must have right-clicked on the minimap instead, and then wound up going back the way he came, taking damage from the scouts, and then he couldn't warp out.
I feel like he had a warp out point at some point. There's a vortex going on in their Protoss critters. I'm not sure what that captured.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We will find out as soon as it ends. And it's Fu!
It's the Ghost, yep. The Ghost must have been trying to nuke back door.
Yeah, and caught him. Didn't have an observer, so just dropped him. Couldn't. Ah.
The Ares and the Reaver trade.
Yeah.
With his ulti in a burst from the Reaver.
Oh dear. I'm surprised to see Val not trying to pressure for a backdoor. Ooh, but Static is just destroying his army and all his science vessels. Science vessels will come back for free.
The Preserver and the Medic. Oh, the Preserver barely gets away.
Oh, I'm always missing these interesting duels. Where are they? I was just watching. Let's see. Medic's still up here. Medic, is taking the balanced approach. He's got Yamato. He did sell his regenerative biosteel, but he has level 1 of every upgrade.
In the mid lane, the Ghost just got vortexed again. I don't know if they're going to go for him. It looks like Static's a little hesitant about getting bursted down by an EMP snipe real fast.
Yeah, like Static...
They're going to wait for DA stun, and then Static will probably jump in on top of this.
Ooh, but that could hurt a lot. And, yep, there he goes.
I feel like that was just a little bit of delayed... oh, wow, Static getting blown up by Yamato. I feel like they could have just jumped on him right away.
Yeah, I feel that was way too hesitant by Static. I think they could have killed him and then gotten out of there, but instead they trade one... Well, they trade 2 for 1.
So we got a little bit of a team push going on in the top mid lane.
Yeah.
Medic swinging top. They're going to try to push both of these waves into the double wave and clear out the final set of defenses there before the base.
So then they'll be even on terms with Terrans.
However, actually in the bot mid and bot lane, the Reaver and DA are trying to do the same exact thing.
Except they don't have defenses to deal with. Or at least not as many. Let's see. Are they... Who's going to actually wound up going back home first and trying to stop the other team?
Oh, the D getting way too aggressive in the bot. Or, sorry, the top lane. Just running right in there trying to Nova and immediately gets destroyed.
Yeah, just way too risky. Oh, and Preserver same
like
thing.
Same thing. This is really, really bad.
Yeah, they're gonna lose buildings for this. There's nothing Static can do. He's gonna.
It's so risky.
He's gonna desperately go in there, but he didn't really have a choice, to be fair.
Yeah, and he did a good job. He went in there, he survived.
And they still haven't lost any buildings out of this. I'm really surprised.
He really, really clutched it for him there.
Well, there wasn't. Honestly, that was partly Terran's fault. There was not focus fire. Like, finally they're trying to target a specific building, but they just...
I never seen any lockdowns or anything go on Static. When they definitely should have all been off cooldown.
Yeah, but they still lose 2 buildings out of it, 3 buildings out of that, and then a protective shield way too late. That's not going to do anything.
I'm not sure why this Ares has never been swapped forward yet.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either, but he didn't have a chance. Oh, yeah. So they're down 3 buildings, and this is looking bad for Protoss. They need to make something happen. I'm not really sure why DA came back home.
And if you take a look at the DA's Wraith fleet at his critter farm, they are almost all completely 1 bar of health.
Yeah, it's in terrible shape. He's gonna, like we said earlier, he's gonna have trouble holding on to that.
And as soon as Valorius picks up on that, they're just gonna disappear with 1 shot.
Yeah. I'm surprised not missing a missile right now.
Like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm watching the mini-map. Oh, there's a scan.
And that is it for most of the army, I'd say.
There's the rocket. Oh, he did split them reasonably well. He still got 6, but they just won't last. It's no health. And he doesn't...
Protoss hasn't ever scouted either of the corner critter maps. They've been there pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, and the name of this game is Farm Control, because it's all about how much money you can make from critters and creeps, not from heroes. Hero kills aren't worth that much until late game.
The Reaver actually picks up the Raven at the bottom ob tower. I guess he snagged him with the disruption weapon. Not sure, I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that.
Sneaking up on Ares, trying to burst out.
Wow!
If he can hear him one more time, that's going to be it.
Yeah, Ares has level 5 armor, but it wasn't enough.
Ares actually needs to grab lockdown. Pretty much everybody on Terran should have it by now.
Yeah, that's what makes Terran so potentially strong, is the fact that they have... What
the medic actually...
Well, he wandered into that army and died, but he did take a fair bit of it with him.
Medic is also lacking lockdown and Dom as well.
Yeah, honestly...
He actually does not have Yamato, he just has defensive matrix and lockdown.
He still only has level 1. I really just don't like that item choice.
Fu actually has 21 sensor towers, something we were trying to avoid.
Yeah. Not really sure what that's about, but as long as he doesn't turn those into stat ups, I'm fine with that.
Well, whatever. We'll let it go.
Yeah, just don't use them.
DA's army whittled down to almost nothing. Really getting caught blown up by that super scare by Poppy.
Yeah, that's not... DA Reaver is a very rarely seen but extremely powerful comp.
Yeah, the burst is absurd.
Yeah, and DA can keep them locked down.
Way aggressive here against 3 Terran opponents.
Yeah, I mean, you're DA, but you're not that DA, you know? And besides that, his army was basically whittled down to nothing by the time he got in there.
I'm not sure if he thought he still had a Reaver, maybe a D tier or something with him, but...
he did not. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, God, and... Wow, Poppy almost going down. He is building the fleet, but the problem is Raven's pretty good at destroying those. And there he goes. He's not going to get to save any of that. Assuming they want to get it. No, they're pretty content to just let it die to Devastator missiles.
Yeah, and Protoss is in a bad way now. With those buildings missing, they're going to have really very little map control, even with Nova. And those farms are just never going to be touched, most likely. And Terran's just going to snowball.
I'm honestly surprised to see...
The thing is, sorry, Terran does need to try to end this within the next 15 minutes or so. You don't want to have the game be drawn out too long after you start taking buildings, because then the other team actually starts getting a feed advantage over you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not really sure why Terran hasn't been taking these critter patches. Nothing's been stopping them.
Yeah, they probably could have snuck some. I did see him. They did try it a few times. He did some scans and dropped some Marines in there.
We got the nuke going down. Fu is completely ignoring everyone else, and he does get it off, but Protective Shield basically nullifies that. Problem is, I don't think it was worth it.
Where's the Nova? He actually had a mouse from the creep wave.
Yeah. Um,
That is not what you want to be using Maelstrom on.
I'm not sure what happened since we left Hero Attack, but Nova is still a pretty good spell, I believe.
It's a good spell. I think the DT has it, but I mean, he hasn't quite been using it properly. He's been getting himself killed a lot trying to do it.
Yeah. And, I mean, Static can take these creeps out, but he's going...
And there's another point, like we talked about in the game before, where as Protoss, if you're getting beat like this, there's comes a point in the game where you have to say to your team, okay guys, we have to try something, you know, and you got to put it all in. They still have 4 warp gates up. That's enough to get your whole team in there.
There goes another nuke.
Go for it.
And that's another one of the great things about Hero Attack. You never have a situation where you can't win. There is always the possibility that you can get into their base and wreck it. And that's what they need to be doing right now, because they're obviously not going to win this. Once you realize that you can't...
They just let the medic down. If they take this ring down here, oh my...
Oh, the dodge! The dodge!
Get him! Oh, that would have been a deal. Well, they do have the medic down. And with this... Oh, the nuke goes off and all the warp gates are dead.
Yeah, so there's no...
They focus immediately on the Nexus.
And that's GG. There's nothing...
It's looking like GG.
Yeah. No.
Game. Well played by 10.
Yeah. Much more even game that time, but eventually Protoss just got swamped by those first few building kills. They didn't really have any successful team pushes of their own, and they didn't really take advantage of their all-in backdoor capabilities.
Yeah, second game we've seen that. I mean, even if it's not likely that you're going to successfully pull it off, you have to try.
Yeah. I mean, we've pulled out a number of victories that way, haven't we? Mostly because I tell you to, but, you know. Thank God I'm around to make all the good decisions.